It is time to take an updated view of what is going on with SPY, QQQ, IWM, and then I will also give some specific technicals as well on Nvidia, Tesla, and Bitcoin. And I'll tell you what, if you were over at the Discord, that is linked through the Patreon down in the description, you got to see those short hedges that we took out last week with the potential for volatility this week for the economic reports alone, on top of the ongoing geopolitical issues. Man, they really paid off. SQQQ up 50% on that move. And then IWM, which we played URTY for that one, 36% gainer on that one as well. And I still have some of those short hedges out and ready to go, waiting to see what exactly could come next for us. And they have paid off pretty big. So even in yesterday's drop, there's still cash to be made. So guys, I'm going to share with you the charts here. So let me pop up TradingView. We'll start talking about SPY. There we are. So as you look at the chart for the SPY, you can see the rising wedge pattern that we're in. We broke down through the 571. We got rejected off of that top trend line. It's currently looking like the bears could potentially push us down to 564, maybe down to about 562. If we break that, we have 558 down below and this bottom trend line on the rising wedge pattern. Breaking down below that trend line, and especially if we retest it and fail to get back up into that pattern, that could be that signaled moment for a much further drop to fall from that. And I have those prices to the downside to see. And assuming that going up into mid-November where these two trend lines meet for us, November 18th, as I have it on my chart, if we continue to rise up through that date, you guys can see those prices to the upside on that as well. So we got the near term of these near values that we could most definitely see. We're going to have to watch. Right now, it's looking like we could potentially push down today. Could be a red day for us. And then we're going to have to watch, see if the bulls win. You have the prices to the upside as well. Probably could be a stop at around 575 if we go to the upside instead. So if we go over to the Qs, once again, we have ourselves a rising wedge pattern on this. And similar to what we saw with SPY, I also have those prices for you. And I updated the technicals for the Qs because look at that you see right there that I have circled. This bear flag that we have on an intraday basis on the 4-hour chart, I should say, from yesterday, that big drop and then kind of sputtering along support here right around 479. If we really zoom into that, there we go. Maybe looking a little bit more like a pennant because we have more of a consolidation in there. If this support fails at 479, we could see these prices down here. If the bears win today, 474 down to about 471 is what we need to watch out for. That would actually take this flagpole that we have right here, and then we could see that play out down to the bottom of this support. If instead we bounce, if that support holds for us, 485.54 is that number that we're looking for on an intraday basis for the Qs. So going over to IWM, another one that we played today, or that we played yesterday, I should say, with our short position. Check out how well that support is holding for us. I turned this previous support into resistance as yesterday we fell out of it. I think now we're solidly out of it, solidly broken support. Now it's resistance to the upside. The floor became the ceiling. Now we have this floor down here to contend with. And that happens to be right around 215, 216. And we're going to have to watch and see if we get that bounce. Right now, it's looking like we potentially could. And if we do fall through that, where's the next price? Well, we have a few lines in here, 214, 210, and 207. I think it would be a bumpy ride down unless the rest of the bigger indices that we have, like the S&P or the NASDAQ 100, if they get smushed down pretty hard, we might see a magnified result for it. So we're going to have to watch for that. If we do bounce instead, that resistance to the upside is 219. And there's also 220 in there, 222 and 224 to the upside. There's a lot. And you guys can see the choppiness that we've experienced here. And that's because there's so much going on for support and resistance for IWM, for the Russell 2000 stocks, that we're just going to get that choppiness for a little while. Down below, there's actually a little red trend line right here. Down below that, we could actually have some further tumbles. And if we break up above that 225-ish number that I have here, you can see there's still all sorts of resistance that we have to the top side. So I said before, I didn't think that the previous peak that we saw was it to go ahead and set new all-time highs for us. So far, that happens to be the case. I think that there's a much lower low coming for the Russell 2000 stocks before we get that next enormous rally. So Nvidia in the consolidation pattern still in the pre-market hours here, flirting with the bottom of this support. We'll see if it holds and send us back up through these resistance prices that are on the chart here for you. So right now we're down here close to the 116. There's 118, 120, 124 with that trend line coming off the previous peaks that we see, which so far are holding up pretty significantly for resistance. And we could most definitely stay in this consolidation pattern for a while leading up to and including their earnings. Maybe that's the next time that we get that next huge catalyst from them. If the rest of the market decides to sell off or rally, that could be the thing to help move us out of here. But right now, this is seeming to move more in status quo and sync with what we get with the NASDAQ 100. For the moment, instead of front running it, now it's kind of following along with it until we get more color on what exactly is going on with those AI plays and also geopolitical risks from around the world. We also have the election coming up too. That's going to be big for us. So Tesla, look at that rejection that we got off of resistance up here. And man, oh man, look at support also holding up. We hit the top of that rising wedge pattern that we have for Tesla as well. And then the price really recovered. We had a low price yesterday of 248.53, and we ended up closing at 258. So we had a 4% turnaround from the bottom of that back up to the top of that. That really, really did tank. But honestly, I think that we're going to have a little bit of upward pressure still on Tesla stock up until we get closer to that full self-driving robotaxi day, which happens a week and a day from today. So today's October 2nd. Happy birthday to my, third oldest sister, the sister closest to me in age. It is her birthday today. And happy half birthday to my oldest daughter. So as we watch this right now, like I said, expect a sell the news event to happen, especially if the prices are able to stay afloat or even rally between now and the 10th of October. And then finally for Bitcoin, had to make some adjustments here for Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, there's a further one right here where we had to call this support resistance because we did happen to fall down through that on a daily basis. And now we're checking out this support down here. 61,471 failed so far. Now we're at the bottom of that, which is about 60,000, almost 61,000, a little bit shy of that. If that fails, we fall down through it. Check out these prices to the downside. And if we happen to rally for whatever reason, we have those prices to the upside. We broke back down below the 200, which is in this resistance area right here. Down below that is support, which is where the 50 EMA and SMA are. If we lose those, I think there's going to be a pretty quick tumble out through that. So we're going to have to watch and see and watch for risk assets if they happen to sell. Bitcoin is also partially a risk asset. That is something that's also going to cause some downward pressure. And I say partially a risk asset because there's still a lot of people who consider it to be the best hedge against inflation. And the fact that it's thoroughly decentralized is also a reason why it continues to hold that price. And I think that's going to continue to be a leader. It might have some price softness every now and then, but I do think that there's some rampant all-time highs in Bitcoin's future, whether it's over the next month, next 12 months, next 24 months. I think that we're going to see a lot of appreciation there. And I think that there's a lot of altcoins like Ethereum that are going to go with it. So guys, thank you for watching. If you want to see these technicals, see my buys and sells and what I'm doing to remain profitable in these markets, you can check out the link down in the description for the Patreon. Click that, sign up, and head on over to the Discord and join the community that's available over there. We'd absolutely love to hear from you and love to have you. And then if you guys want to do this technical analysis yourself and empower your trading, where you can put up these technicals, you can see where to buy, where to sell for yourself as you do that. If you want to get access to his trading strategy that's going to help to show you when those potential moves up or down can happen, the bread recipe available through Stockmo Academy. He gave me a link to toss out to you guys. The bread recipe is something that I trade on. It's something that he trades on. Many other people who have joined that course also have learned to trade on it. And there is a lot of testimonial evidence to show the success of that bread recipe. And so guys, go ahead and check that link for the course out down in the description. And when you do sign up for that course, make sure that you use the code DOCTOR, DOCTOR. That's going to give you a massive discount for that course. Thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.